There is no light, only pressure. You are folded into a space that is also you, a hexagon of warm, scented wax. The world is a low, pervasive hum vibrating through the floor, the walls, the very air you have yet to breathe. A command, ancient and unthinking, rises not from a mind, but from the tingling in your mandibles. You obey. The waxy cap gives way, a cascade of muted light, and a universe of new scent flooding your nascent consciousness. Thousands of bodies brush past your cell, a river of sisters, whose purpose is as absolute as yours, yet infinitely more complex. Your emergence is not a birth, it is an activation. A worker bee, a sister you will never know, pauses her frantic duties to offer you a drop of nectar. It is not an act of love, it is system maintenance. Your immense compound eyes, two glittering hemispheres that dominate your head, take in the churning, perpetual twilight of the hive. It is a city of perfect order, a masterpiece of biological architecture, where every citizen is a prisoner of its own utility. The air is thick, a cocktail of honey, pollen, and the regal, authoritative pheromone of the queen. You are a drone. Your name is your function. Your wings larger, designed for power and endurance over agility. You are a repository of genetic code, a vessel created for a single, explosive, and final act. The most profound form of planned obsolescence in the known universe. You stumble through the crowded waxen corridors, a prince in a kingdom that has no need for kings, only for the seed they carry. You are pampered, fed, and ignored, waiting for a signal from the sun. The days blur. In the hive's warm, living twilight, time is measured not by the sun, but by the rhythms of the collective. The drone, a single point of stillness, watches a group of worker bees fanning their wings in perfect, rhythmic unison to regulate the hive's temperature. You wander the waxen halls, a ghost in your own home, stepping aside for the frantic, purposeful traffic of your sisters. They are a river of ceaseless labor, and you are a stone in their current. Worker bees, their bodies already showing the wear of relentless foraging, will pause to offer you the richest honey from the communal stores. This is not charity. This is not love. It is the cold, brilliant logic of the superorganism at work. A zoom out from the individual bees to a glowing, abstract neural network representation of the hive mind, showing the feeding as a calculated transfer of energy. You are an investment, a precious and perishable asset. Around you, the colony operates as a single, distributed consciousness. You see sisters communicating through complex, vibrating dances, conveying the precise location of a new nectar source. You smell the chemical signals of alarm, of contentment, of the queen's dominion. The workers are cogs in a machine of breathtaking efficiency. You are its pampered, temporary passenger. This gilded cage is a paradox, a place of total safety and provision, yet also a place of profound uselessness. But something is changing. It begins as a faint thrumming in your thorax, a vibration in your flight muscles that have, until now, been dormant. Your huge eyes, so useless in the dim interior, seem to ache for a brighter light. The air drawn in through the hive's entrance feels different now. Warmer, carrying the complex scent of blooming flowers and sun-baked earth. The ancient programming, the instinct that drove you from your cell, is beginning to stir with a new imperative. The drone in the present, his body tensing, a new purpose animating him. The hum of the hive is no longer a comfort, it is a cage's bars. The signal has not yet come, but the readiness for it has become your entire being. The pull becomes an undeniable command. You are a tide, and the sun is your moon. You crawl over the bodies of your laboring sisters, a pilgrim moving toward a single point of light. A POV shot of the single point of light, the entrance from the drone's perspective, growing larger as he approaches. The familiar, comforting scent of wax and honey begins to fade, replaced by a sharp, green, and living smell. The hive entrance, a perfect circle buzzing with the frantic landings and departures of foragers, is no longer a simple opening, but a portal between realities. Behind you lies the only world you have ever known, a warm, dark, predictable machine. Before you lies everything else. For a microsecond, your programming hesitates, a system overwhelmed. Then, instinct engages, and you leap. The light is a physical impact. It scours your senses, a blinding, formless white that erases the world. Your immense eyes are momentarily rendered useless by the sheer volume of photons. The air, once a thick, still medium, is now a violent, rushing force that tears at your wings. A raw, powerful ascent, a clumsy explosion into an alien dimension. The ground plummets away beneath you, a chaotic blur of greens and browns that defies the perfect, repeating geometry of the honeycomb. The world's sound is a deafening roar. The wind, the distant calls of birds, the thrum of a million other lives. A rapid montage of the sound sources: wind blowing through leaves, a bird calling, other insects flying. The universe is a place of magnificent, terrifying chaos. You are utterly, terrifyingly alone. But then, a deeper, older knowledge asserts itself. Your powerful wings find their rhythm, beating the chaotic air into submission. Your brain begins to parse the sensory flood, turning the blinding light into a sun and sky, the green blur into a forest canopy. Circling higher and higher, you perform your orientation flight, locking the position of your home into a biological compass. The terror has not vanished, but it is now overshadowed by a new, resonant hum of function. You are a creature of the air now, and the sky itself seems to be pulling you toward a place you have never been, but have always known. The invisible map unfolds. You are not navigating by sight, but by a deeper, older sense, a genetic memory pulling you toward a specific patch of sky. The drone flying with purpose, following an invisible line in the sky. This place is a cathedral without walls, a battlefield with no visible borders, etched into the world by millennia of instinct. As you fly, you hear it before you see it, a low, resonant drone that is not your own. The sound of a multitude. First one, then a dozen other dark bodies appear, until you are no longer flying alone, but entering a living, shimmering cloud of your own kind. This is the drone congregation area, a temporary city in the sky, populated only by males, all waiting for a single event. You merge into the swirling vortex. It is a storm of bodies, a tornado of identical purpose, each drone a perfect copy of the next, distinguished only by the invisible code carried within. They are your brothers, and they are your rivals. Here, the identity of the collective you came from is meaningless. The superorganism has released its individual bets into the sky. You are now part of a larger, temporary brotherhood of the condemned. Only the shared, tense vibration of anticipation. This is not a noble tournament. It is a deeply immoral arena, a biological lottery, where thousands of tickets have been printed, and only one will be drawn. A stock market of genetic futures, where each participant is both speculator and commodity. Your entire being sharpens into a single sensory weapon. Your antennae tuned to a breathtaking degree of sensitivity. Sift the air molecules for the one chemical signature that matters. Your colossal eyes now scan the blue expanse with analytical precision, searching for a specific silhouette. The sun warms your thorax, keeping your flight muscles at peak readiness. The air is electric, a palpable field of potential energy. The genetic lottery is open, and the sky holds its breath, waiting for the race to begin. It begins with a single molecule, a whisper on the wind that your entire being was built to hear. The Queen's pheromone arrives, and the skyborn arena erupts. The waiting, humming vortex of drones detonates into a singular, frantic pursuit. The vortex breaking apart, transforming into a single, comet-like stream of drones. 1,000 individuals become a single organism, a comet of black bodies chasing one fleeting speck of destiny. A closer shot within the comet, showing the frantic, unified motion of the individual drones, all flying in the same direction. Your powerful wings beat to their breaking point, the world dissolving into a high-speed blur of color and wind. Many drones fall behind, their energy reserves failing. But not you. Through a perfect confluence of luck, position, and raw power, you close the distance. Your immense compound eyes now see her with perfect, predatory clarity. The drone's point of view, showing the Queen's form in perfect, sharp focus, with a targeting system like overlay locking onto her. You are the one. You have won the most important lottery in the natural world. You fulfill the entire purpose of your colony, the entire reason for your existence. The union is not an embrace, it is a high-velocity collision, a violent, mechanical transfer. A stylized, X-ray view of the mechanical transfer of genetic material at the moment of impact. There is a catastrophic rupture within your own body as your reproductive organs are externalized with explosive force. An abstract visualization of this explosion, a flash of light, an outward burst of energy. The biological key fits the lock, but shatters upon turning. The connection breaks. The Queen flies on, now carrying the future of her colony within her. You do not. Paralyzed and eviscerated, your function complete, you become dead weight. The sky you just conquered becomes an abyss. You plummet, a spent cartridge ejected from the mechanism of life. Your great eyes reflecting nothing. Your final sensation is not pain or fear, but a simple, sudden, and total cessation. Your story ends there, a brief, violent expenditure on the forest floor. You are an echo in the genome, a successful calculation. Your brothers, the ones who lost the genetic lottery, now return to the hive as evening falls. Their purpose is unfulfilled. They are allowed back inside for now. The drones entering the hive, the guards letting them pass, but with a subtle sense of indifference. But the air within the waxen city has changed. The sun's angle is lower, the nights carry a new chill. An external shot of the hive at dusk, with long shadows and a visible chill. The frantic river of incoming nectar and pollen has slowed to a trickle. The great, invisible mind of the colony is making a new calculation. A symbolic shot of an abacus, with bee-like appendages making a cold, final calculation. The seasons are turning. The Queen has been mated. The drones have been transformed in the hive's ledger. Your potential value has expired. You have shifted from a high-yield investment to a crippling liability. You are a drain on the winter stores that the thousands of your sisters worked themselves to death to accumulate. The purge begins subtly. The very workers who once pampered and fed you now turn away. You are blocked from the honey cells. A targeted aggression where before there was only indifference. Then, it becomes physical. Your sisters begin to push you and your brothers toward the entrance. A close-up of a worker bee pushing her head against the larger drone's side, a David vs. Goliath moment. You have no instinct for this fight. Your programming contains no protocol for conflict with the hive. The same mandibles that once offered you life, sustaining drops of honey, now grip your legs and wings, dragging you from the warmth. It is an algorithm running its course, a biological system purging inefficient components. You are cast out onto the landing board, into a cold you are not built to withstand. The entrance to your home is now blocked by a wall of hostile sisters. The hum of the hive, the sound of your own life, fades behind you, a paradise forever lost. Whether by the ecstatic violence of the fatal union or the slow, cold logic of the purge, your end is the same total, absolute, and perfectly efficient. The two images merge into a single, abstract symbol of finality, like a period or a flat line. Your brief existence was a perfect arc, and it serves now as a prism. Through it, the complex, chaotic light of human experience is refracted into its startlingly simple components. Your life was lived without a single choice, yet it was saturated with a purpose so profound that it demanded your very destruction. We, in contrast, wander through a universe of near infinite choice, spending our lives in a desperate search for a fraction of the certainty that was encoded into your every cell. We fear obsolescence above all things, yet your entire being was a masterclass in its design. The frantic, competitive flight in the skyborne arena. Is it truly so different from the human drive for status, for legacy, for a partner? Or is our ambition merely a more sophisticated echo of the same ancient command? We call the same forces love, ambition, or destiny. Perhaps our free will is not the power to escape our programming, but the unique and tragic ability to be consciously aware of the cage. The hive's brutal honesty values the individual only for its utility and discards it without sentiment when that utility expires. We build entire civilizations on the premise of the individual's sanctity, yet our economies, our societies, and our algorithms often perform the same cold calculus. Your unthinking, unfeeling life is a terrifying mirror, reminding us that beneath all our art and philosophy, we are still a biological system. And so, we pull back from the darkness of the hive and the vastness of the sky, returning to the familiar scale of our own world. The drone's flight is over, a frantic, predetermined arc that burned itself out against an indifferent sun. We are left to navigate our own lives, blessed and burdened by a consciousness that questions every step. A point of view shot of human feet walking on a path, hesitating at a fork in the road, leaving us with one final, unsettling question. If you could strip away all the stories you tell yourself, what unwavering, ancient instinct would you find pulling you toward your own fatal sky?